In this program, we are going to have a look at the gyroscope for the EV3 LEGO Mindstorm iPad software. So, as you can see, in the bottom corner here, we have our sensors. The second sensor in our second port is our gyroscope. And we're just going to click on it for a minute. We're just going to have a little look at this interface. Now, it shows us all our different motors and all our different sensors and tells us what they're doing currently, as long as we have the Bluetooth attached to our robot. Now, if we look at our gyroscope at the moment, it says it's minus 62. That's the angle it's on. Since it started the program, it's been rotated to an angle of minus 62. That's counterclockwise is minus, clockwise is positive. So when we do our programs, we just want to make sure we reset our gyroscope, and we can also reset our motors. That's always a good thing to do, just so that everything's at 0. Obviously at the moment our light sensor is picking up the color 6, which is white, and at the moment our sonar is picking up an object at between 85 and 100 meters away. So back to our program. To begin with, we have a start block, and we're going to move our drive forwards by our standard amount of on, and at a rate of let's go 40 or 40. So that's our first block. Now we go into our sensors, pick our timer block, and we select the top section, and we're going to change it. We're going to look at Gyros Sensor. Again, we've got compare and change. We're going to go into compare, and now we've got angle and rate. Angle is how much from the start of our program it is going to change, and rate is by how quickly that rotation is. So we're going to go into angle, and this gives us some variables. Now, this is really important where we've reset our gyroscope to 0. Because what it's going to say is, have we changed our rotation by a certain amount from 0? Okay, so we've got our different options here. We've got equal to, not equal to, greater than, and less than, and the equals to's for those two options. So we're going to just test to see if, for this one, we're going to go if it's greater than, and our section option is our degrees, and we're just going to say if it's greater than 45. We want it to stop the program. Now, if we ran this at the moment, our motors are running forwards in a straight line, so our gyroscope isn't going to actually change angle. It's going to stay 0 or maybe 1, depending on a little bit of drift. So this program is going to run forever and drive in a straight line. But now I'm going to steer my robot by 19. Doesn't matter how much you steer it by, but eventually it will do it. So I'm going to steer by 19 and at a rate of under the power of 40. So it's going to start rotating. What's going to happen is our gyroscope is going to detect that rotation and start changing how much, from our origin of 0, how much it's rotated. Now when it gets to 45 or above 45, it's going to stop the program. So let's just check out this running. So we have our robot here, and we're just going to run the program, and we're just going to watch it turn. Now it's going to start the turn, and when it got past 45 degrees of rotation, the program stopped. So now we're going to just change a couple of things and see what we can get happening if we rotate it going the other way. Okay, we're back at the program now, and as you can see, I've left the robot in the same position, and its angle is now 53 from its origin. So when it turned, it rotated, got past 45, and it had to slow down a bit. That's why it got to 53. So now we're just going to change this. Now, if we ran this program again, it would just stop. It wouldn't even start because our rotation is already past 45. So it would go through, it would check to see if the angle is above 45, and then it would end the program. So it might get a little bit more rotation, but it's not going to work. So this is where we'd have to reset the robot, go back into here, and we'd have to reset our gyro. Now, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset the gyro, and now, this time, we're going to go and turn the other direction. So we're going to go 19 the other direction. Now this means that we need to change some of our things. So we need to now put this at -45, because that's our left rotation or our counterclockwise rotation. So, and we need to say if it's less than this. This is where we need to make sure we remember that when we have rotations going negative, we need to go less than. So if we run this program now, the same thing's going to happen, and it's just going to be in the left-hand direction. So I'm not going to run it because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to look at another thing. Now, let's just go into gyro, the top section, go into change, and then we're going to go angle change. So now we've got a couple of different variables. Now we've got any direction, an increase or a decrease. This is saying it can be at 0, our gyro can be at 0 or 100, or it doesn't matter what it's at. It's going to pick up a change either it's left or right. It doesn't matter. If we just wanted to see if it turned more right, so more in a clockwise rotation, we go increase. And if we wanted to go in a counterclockwise rotation, we go decrease. So it picks up wherever it is. So our gyro could be at 50, and we're just going to see the difference in that change. And the difference is in degrees, and say we want to change by 45 degrees. Doesn't matter where our start point is, we just want to change by 45 degrees, and it could be in any direction. It could be left, it could be right. We just want to find out 45 degrees of change in rotation. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run this program, and I'm just going to show you on the robot. So now I'm just showing you what the reading is at the moment. It's currently at -55. So we're just going to look at this to begin with. We're going to run the program and then see what it is afterwards. So I didn't want to reset it to 0, so I just moved the robot into a different position. So here's our robot again, and I'm just going to run the program. It should turn left until there's 45 degrees of change. Bam. So turn left, and we rotated from our -53, and it rotated 45 degrees plus a bit more because of our slowdown time. And we'll just take a look at the number now, what it ended up being at. Okay, now we're back at the program, and I just realized that when we hit the play button, it reset itself to 0, and that's where our change is back at -55. So I got fooled there, and it doesn't really matter. So you just need to be aware that if you run your program and you have, say, a change, you want it to rotate a certain amount one way and then a certain amount the other way, you want to go in to your gyroscope and go to change function, because it won't reset itself halfway through the program, just at the beginning of the program. And we wanted angle, not rate. Alright, so that concludes this tutorial on the gyroscope.